Coming at you from Scratch Wolf Studio, it's that time again to rage across the internet. Your very favorite Werewolf the Apocalypse podcast. I'm your host, Porter. To my left, we've got Daniel Tyson.
Hey, everybody.
And to my right, Tommy Dixon.
It's still weird that's to your right.
I know. We changed positions.
Yeah.
And equipment,
Yes.
by the way.
Yes.
This is what we're supposed to sound like.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Our backers already have this information.
Yeah, they got a little advanced copy of this new sound with the last postmortem.
Correct.
But before we talk about the postmortem, we should talk about something else because I kind of feel bad making him sit here quietly.
Oh.
We are joined today once again by our friend C. Grant Rose. Grant, how's it going?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing pretty good, man. How are you?
Having another day, always excited to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming back.
Yeah, I kind of believe that, actually.
It's always a good time with us.
He keeps showing up, and he knows. I know it's not for the crappy steak knives.
It's number 9. I'm trying to get that damn toaster. I expect it in the mail.
As long as, there's the hoops. You could disqualify yourself. I don't get cocky at the end of the run here.
Ooh.
I get one actually out of you, and that shit's over.
Oh.
Actually.
Don't feel threatened. Don't be threatened by my knowledge of lore.
Oh, okay.
So that's where we're going. Got it.
This guy's going to go off on a tangent about spooky ghosts or wizards or shit like that, and I see how it is.
All I see is Cookie Wizard.
Good to have you back, Grant.
To be fair, I haven't brought up mage in any of the times I've been here on the podcast. So,
no, that's true, but the rules extend to Discord usage, and that's where you're going to get in trouble. We'll get you in studio for a change. It'll be great.
That'd be awesome.
Get you on a good mic.
Right?
I know, right?
We say that today.
Mm-hmm. Of course we do.
The ball's on us saying that last week, though, right?
Right.
Oof.
So,
what are we here for?
Today we are here to talk about the Mockery Breeds.
What are those?
Oh, because of the show.
Yeah, it's a show. What are those?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, explain a thing.
Oh, boy.
I love the dead air, and I hope that stays in there.
Yeah, this is good.
Oh, boy.
It's like a solid 2 seconds of like, what the fuck did he just say?
Yeah, like, are you kidding me, Tom?
Not doing a show here or anything. Sorry.
No, it's fine. That's the beauty, though, is we forget sometimes. You're just hanging out.
I know I drank last night, but come on.
We're not even chilling anything.
No.
All right.
We didn't even talk about the fact that, hey, we got an awesome Discord. You can get through our forums on our website, which is ragecrosstheinternet.com.
.com.
And, yeah, hey, look
Nice.
at that. We didn't say anything about our store.
Which is also on the website, so there you go.
There, look at that.
Okay.
And we're done.
Boom, look at that. Efficient.
Likes, 5 stars.
Yep.
Do the stuff.
5 stars, 10 stars, 12 stars. Tell everybody.
Review, shares, and likes. Done. Again.
So the Mockery Breeds. Fucking efficiency.
Yes.
The Mockery Breeds are shifters, lab-grown shifters made by Pentex. And we're going to be a little more specific about it. Now and then you just got to assume that things go right for Pentex. I mean, they're around for a reason, right? So Neurodynamic Laboratories, NDL, is a Pentex front that was established for the primary purpose of conducting corporate raids against DNA, developmental neogenetics amalgamated.
Right.
Those are the guys that think that being a Garu is a genetic disease called GLS.
There's a lot of
letters.
Yeah,
Well,
there's a lot of letters here.
Alphabet soup. Nice.
So yeah, NDL, Pentex thing, stealing stuff from DNA. DNA's not going to be mentioned again, probably. But the point is they're stealing their stuff, stealing research, seeing if they can make anything of it. So NDL used to be under Project Iliad, which is, the Fomori create division.
This is like Build-A-Bear from Ori.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And so it was under the code name Project Lycion.
Yeah.
And then again, the purpose of Project Lycion was to create designer shifting breeds in a lab loyal to Pentex.
Designer.
Worm aligned changing breeds.
Well, I mean, let's be clear. Pentex aligned.
Okay, fair.
Gaia is not the wild. Pentex is not the worm.
Right. No, I know why you say it that way. Right.
You know, the board doesn't give a shit if, loyalty to Pentex first.
Still, I hear designer and I'm like, oh, they must be in heels and in coach purses or something.
All of them are, actually. It's weird.
Oh, wow.
They code that into the DNA so they don't have to put the shoes on them.
They just grow them.
Yeah. Like instead of hooves, it's heels.
Oh.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, old boy's right.
That's a lie.
So, like, designer Macaulay boots?
I mean,
And
that can
bags.
happen anyway.
Yeah, that could happen.
I kind
Isn't
of
what Gucci already does?
like that.
See these gator skin boots here, right? I shove my foot so far up your ass and show your inside some style.
Look at this guy.
Wow.
Where did that come from?
Wow.
That was the best thing you've ever said.
That was,
He didn't get it
Okay,
himself.
yeah,
I
okay.
believe that was,
Stole it. All right.
I believe that was
sense.
Charlie Murphy from Chappelle's Show.
It's,
Yeah, that
See,
makes sense. Okay.
all of a sudden, this, okay.
The stars align
Yeah.
and the clouds separate, and we see what really happened
I
here.
was going to say a broken clock's right twice a day, but apparently.
I was going to give you props and be like, you need to start your new line called Moochie. And
So impressed.
Call it Moochie.
This shit was so funny.
Mocha like Gucci, you know? You got to make them go
No, it's
together.
good.
No, that's good. I like that.
Like the portmanteau. It's great. But so anyway, yeah, these are loyal to Pentex is the idea. And able to, more cooperative, more palatable than the spirals, because at the end of the day, you don't control the spirals.
Right.
So it was a part science and wormish magic to create these things. And, before we start with the Mockery Breeds proper, as we mentioned, that NDL started its Project Iliad. And so before we get to those, I think we go to the first, I guess you would say it's the proto-Mockery Breed.
Yeah, it's kind of the reason the whole thing started.
Yeah, it kind of kicked it all off, because it's not technically a Mockery Breed. This is Designer Femorae. But this is kind of where it all began. Tom?
So I'm starting off with freak feet.
You are starting off with Freak Feet.
Freak feet. These grotesque little toad monkeys.
Toad monkeys.
Toad monkeys is how they called that in the book.
I like that.
They were among the earliest of the Designer Femorae. They were initially created by the Magadon subsidiary Panacea. Is that how that's-
Panacea.
Panacea, thank you.
Well-
In the late 1970s. So they were intended to be an easily controlled, cheaply produced, self-replicating Femorae breed, and to thrive in the abandoned nooks and crannies of the urban wasteland.
Just those few sentences alone. Self-replicating, thriving.
Well, they're trying to make something they don't really have to put, they're just going to do what they want them to do, and they'll replicate and just expand and
I get it.
fuck everything over.
But it already sounds like a bad idea.
When I think about the Freak Feet, and I hear that description, I instantly think of the jumping humpers from Castlevania.
I'm trying to picture this.
It's little fucking hunchback guys.
Oh, I was about to say, I can't remember them, but now I do. Yeah,
Yeah.
little hunchback guys.
I've known
I
like
hate
3
those
separate
fucking
groups
things.
of people who exclusively called them jumping humpers. I just thought it was one of those floor is lava kind of things.
I called them the Igor fleas.
Oh,
Yep.
that's a good
See?
one.
Yep.
They literally jump like a flea.
Yeah, they do.
Like that's how they moved.
they jump, and the sprite looked like they were kind of like humping the air instead of jumping humpers.
I mean, I believe you. I'm not saying anything against this. It's just, what the fuck?
So go ahead.
So they go to the nooks and crannies. They particularly use sewers and storm drains, which many bonars of the time used as supply catches and bolt holes. However, a spate of attacks on Panacea facilities allowed a number of unindoctrinated freak feet to escape, thus resulting in these urban nightmares reproducing in the wild outside of Pentex control.
Which is kind of great, right?
Yeah, that's my point was saying like they're already self-replicating. They're already.
Well, they were doing it under Pentec supervision until.
Then that's
until. Yeah, that wasn't gonna last long.
I could see them like this little swamp where there's like a little colony of these things jumping around, fucking humping, you know.
Oh boy,
just breeding and swarming.
Oh boy, is right.
So despite, geez, I'm just going to keep moving on. Despite their variable appearances, all freak feet are genetically identical from a fusion of human and amphibian DNA with a Hrugling. Is that how you say that? Hrugling bane?
I believe that's correct.
It's H-R. So
right. It's
English is hard.
That's not English.
It's Bainanese.
Bainanese. All right. Freak feet are Hrugling. Sure. Freak feet are dull-witted and cowardly, but vicious creatures, experts at creeping, slinking, and abducting targets from within their own homes. So now these guys also, they have their own language. Their deep-throated chittering are only comprehensive to other freak feet or Hruglings. Like think swamp noises, like when you're out in a swamp and you just hear all the ribbits and.
Just because I don't hang out in a lot of swamps after dark, you gotta help me out here, Tom.
You never gone camping? And you just hear.
You know who that is, right? You know who Porter is, right?
I did go camping once.
Why?
Do you ever put on those ambient noises where you get the crickets and stuff in the background?
I put on Metallica once.
You're just a prick.
So I'm going out of my way to give him a hard time.
I know, it's funny.
It's fun.
I'm going to throw this can at you.
It's empty. Who gives a shit?
Catch it and squeeze it.
Have you not put on any kind of ambient noise?
No, I know what you're talking about. It's just more fun to fuck with you.
Yeah, you're a dick.
You know what? I think our audience enjoys this more too anyway.
Fine.
Yeah.
Mess with the hungover guy.
Well.
You get for drinking every night before podcast recording.
To be fair, he does drink on Saturday, which is the day of the week to drink.
Thank you, Grant, for having my back.
I drink Fridays.
You don't drink
milk on Friday.
Well, I drink every day, just like
water
and lemonade.
Lemon.
I love lemonade.
Could there be a more wholesome bullshit Jimmy Olsen answer than lemonade?
Tell me there's at least vodka in that lemonade.
Once in a while.
Some of us are grown up with grown up responsibilities, and we need to drown our sorrows in alcohol. Thank you very much.
Right?
I'm shaking my head yes. You can't see it, but I'm shaking my head yes.
You're not drinking to escape the pain. You are not old enough yet.
All right, so appearance on these guys. we're just going right back into this. Their appearance. So they are generally human in outline form from the waist up, although with weirdly elongated arms. Their eyes are enormous, popping out of their heads bulging up from wide, powerful shoulders.
But again, they're all genetically, what's the word to use? The same, yeah. So they look like
but
70 of these guys.
This appearance gets worse.
Well, I know it gets worse.
Freak feet have no necks.
What the fuck?
And their legs are actually really tiny, from 6 inches to 1 foot in length, like T-Rex.
So they look like any other
a backwards
professional
T-Rex.
NFL player. They look like a linebacker in NFL. Just saying.
You just see one of these guys.
But I mean, they had really long arms, so it's like they're backwards T-Rex.
No, yeah.
It's really weird.
They have roughly the silhouette of a doorstop.
And they actually have enormous feet with long prehensile toes. So really small legs, big feet.
Yeah, how does that work, right? Because their legs are max a foot long. And the feet also?
Dude, I can't
With
even
no
picture
neck.
these things. They're just...
So like the shoulders are next to the ears.
You just fold them up in a suitcase. You just big arms coming out of them.
And there's like 12 of them because they all look exactly the same.
And see, I'm picturing this, and the arms are like super buff. Like they
of
know
course.
exactly where the beach is at all times.
Like a Trogdor arm.
Yes, exactly like a Trogdor arm.
Exactly like a Trogdor arm.
Now that I'm thinking about it, if you all remember the Max from MTV, back when MTV was cool in the 80s, 90s, that's what I imagine one of the freak feet to look like. Just a short The Max.
See, I think like a buffer is from the Max. I fucking love the Max. That's a great series.
I know you've told me about it before. I never got around to it.
Everyone out there, get the comic if you find it. Find a collection of the comic. Buy it. It didn't run very long. It's fine. Like you're not breaking the bank. I'm saying, it didn't run 100 issues.
Fair.
Leave it to me to reference some obscure show and comic that no one remembers.
I'm too young for it.
I was going to say, welcome to the show.
Right. You do realize this is your 9th appearance, yes?
Mm-hmm.
So there's still more. Their skin is waxy and rubbery beneath a glistening layer of slime. And they all come in a wide array of colors because why not?
Nothing says identical, like different colors.
I was going to say.
And of which they are inordinately proud of.
So they're all identical except for the coloring?
Sure. I mean, think of the tree frogs in the Amazon. They're all different colors.
Like this is one of those don't think about it too hard things, but it's also one of those things where
if you think about it too hard, you start having an aneurysm.
Well, probably that too. But
yeah,
but also where the contradictions come in. Like if they're genetically identical, how are they all different?
That's why I'm like, what the hell?
There is no Garu gene except for DNA discovered the gene for GLS, which is the thing that lets werewolves be werewolves.
Oh, we're going that way.
I mean, I'm just saying, these things pop up every now and then. You got to make a judgment call.
He said pop.
I mean, technically, plants do the same type of thing all the time. And I didn't use the word actually, so you can't give me shit.
Loophole. He said technically.
So, but
Fancy word for actually.
The actually it's in spirit, actually, not the use of the word itself.
But you propagate plants that way, so that's how I really look at them. And then, they're going to use those different colors as they're peacock. You got to let them fly or squawk in the swamp there.
I could see that.
I'm just saying if they're all identical, then they're not identical, which is, it doesn't mean it's fine.
Their DNA is identical. It doesn't mean, whatever.
Yeah, see?
Yeah,
this is the least important part of all of this.
It really is, and we're grabbing onto it way too hard.
Yeah.
I only got a little bit left here. It's all...
Poor guy.
I know, right? So now that they've obviously been breeding outside of Pentex, so all Freak Feet hives, they have a quote-unquote queen, which is at least 3 times larger than a normal famor of the breed.
Which doesn't make sense if they're all identical.
I was going to let it go.
You know what? I'm done here. That was the last bit I had.
I mean, you didn't create them. It's not on you.
Well, they're the first one of the first ones. So.
Right. It's like the proto-mockery breed at that point.
It was the reason that let's create mockery breeds because this was a complete disaster.
Well, and that complete disaster, maybe not complete, but disaster seems to be a theme here.
Well, it's Pentex.
Oh, I mean, Pentex does a good job, but it is important to mention.
They get better. It's just, this is a first one. They just can throw everything at it.
Right. And they're like, hey, look what happened. Maybe
they tried to do a Jurassic Park and amphibian DNA with human.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's worth noting that NDL, they've realized their goals, but none of them has been abject failures, but none of them have been massive successes. Kind of. Yeah. Like there's kind of an exception to that. We'll get to it, but I mean that's the beginning. That was the one that kicked them all off. But I kind of like the idea. Did they talk about? I don't remember. I honestly don't. The relative intelligence of these things.
I didn't write anything down.
Yeah, Grant.
So I mean, they were slightly intelligent, especially the queens. The queens had probably the rough intelligence of a small child, if I remember correctly. They do have a lot of addition changes because these guys were originally envisioned, I think, in second, maybe even first edition werewolf. So I know for a fact they were in the first book of the Worm. So they've went over some changes throughout the different editions and different versions. Like in the earlier editions, they went into like the reproductive cycle, which was very, very forceful and borderline, I don't know what word I'm looking for here, but it's really almost over the top. It's kind of the 90s cringe. Let's see how far we can push the envelope. And they've kind of stepped back from that in 20th edition. Still really grotesque and really horrendous how they reproduce because they basically capture people and force them to be incubators for future generations of freak feet. So they also give them the standard spectrum of femore powers. Some can be venomous, some can have a rat head. Some can be this, that, and the other. So I think while they really did hone in on the DNA is the same, they let it be variant in the spiritual aspect of them having a different impact on them.
Well, really, I think they just should have edited that sentence out, and then we wouldn't be picking on it.
That's true.
But But it's something I like about the freak feet. The idea is, they were this abject failure, and that there's some just in the wild now. And because they can breed, they are just in the wild now.
They're there.
So you can run stories, like Monster of the Week type shit if you want to. Where, look, there's just some freak feet in this fucking, like, in these caves or in the sewers in suburbia.
Go deal with that.
Yeah, and people are just fucking, like, this is in the paper tomorrow. This family went missing.
That's nuts.
This family is now freak feet.
Right, and you can just deal with that, and do, like, and then they get the kind of xenomorph thing with the breeding. So you can kind of explore that, down the sewers and all this fucking gunk and, shitty slime webs, and like, it's just kind of a neat thing you can play with, I think.
Yeah, we'll get there, because there's more, but
well, there's a lot more, but I'm just talking freak feet at that point. Just talking freak feet, man.
Yeah, come on.
Just talking the freak feet. Ain't your feet freaky?
Theirs are.
Yeah, they are. So moving to that, though, we have Project Lycian's first successful project. That's a sentence. The lab was in the projects, too. So
The 3 Ps?
Yeah, that's it.
Nice.
Well played, sir.
Nicely done.
There's a bonus one.
Nice.
This is the Warwolves. And, they took genetic material from several captured Garu, as well as copious amounts of acquired DNA.
Copious amounts.
I like copious amounts.
Yeah, that's a good word.
Yeah. So the Pentex scientists managed, they create these custom built kind of Garu.
Yeah, they're not really spiritually aligned.
Yeah, there's a lot of things with them. They work. They don't have like a higher intelligence though, and they don't have anything resembling morals or higher understanding. They do have a deep inborn hunger for the flesh of Garu.
Yummy.
Now as an added bonus, they're trying to they try to keep these things away from black spirals and spiral kin.
Oh, I don't understand why.
Right, because, hey, let's rock that boat. Accidents happen, but yeah, they go to great lengths to steer away from antagonizing the spirals that they're looking to replace on the sly.
Yeah, but wouldn't they have an issue with the spiral flesh?
It's Garu.
I know, but it's tainted.
It's Garu.
Yeah.
They don't care. Their intelligence is so low that what do they care if it's Gaian or worm tainted?
And do they even understand those concepts?
Probably
They
not.
just crave the flesh of Garu. They do have the delirium. They've got the regeneration and they have their shape shifting. But the thing is about their shifting, they're only capable of one transformation. They have lupus, they have Krynos. That's it.
Okay, it makes a little bit more sense. I was worried if there was going to be like a Hamid. Like, who would fucking trust that human, quote unquote, human.
With their 3-year-old intelligence.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is they appear emaciated, drooling wolves with ragged pelts. In Krynos, they smell rank and they reek of the worm to spiritual senses. But the smell is enough like a wolf that they can get in close to wolf kin.
Oh, okay. So this was kind of on purpose then.
I don't know if it was on purpose, but
It was a happy accident.
probably that. This was the first success. It was NDL's first answer to the Garu. And, like I says, they are constantly hungry until they encounter kin or Garu. Other meat nourishes them, but it doesn't satisfy them. So it's like Chinese food. It's like you ate something, but you totally didn't eat. You are absolutely still hungry. That's not real food.
Just MSG.
Wow.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I love Chinese food, but yeah, I'm always still hungry.
It's like eating sushi.
Yeah, sushi's great. What'd you have? Nothing. Might as well have been cotton. I am not satisfied.
That's why you get
MSG is a gift from the gods. Just saying. MSG is fantastic.
That's why I always get sushi and a meal.
There's a place
big
nearby
spender over here.
that does burgers and sushi.
That's scary.
A little bit. Like, it's
Yeah.
amazing, but suspect.
It's very, very suspect.
Much like werewolves.
Hey, look at that.
Now their shape-shifting is semi-mystical in nature, but they are not half spirit.
It makes sense, because how are you supposed to do that?
Well, yeah, I mean, they're a whole fucking box of contradictions because, like, they can't use gifts, they don't have gnosis, they can't step sideways, they share the weakness to silver.
I wonder how they pulled
Because
that.
why the fuck not?
Well, I mean, and that's a good enough answer for me, but it's, it's just a hodgepodge of what the fuck with these guys.
It's like freak feet. So this is
little
a
bit.
trend right now.
Right?
I mean, it's kind of with all the different mockery breeds, but yeah, it's weird how they would get the vulnerability to silver. You know, they're taking the quote unquote DNA from DNA.
Or, like some scrapings from a battle in the Amazon.
Yeah.
That can happen too, sure.
Hey, we got half of this dude's head. Put it in a baggie. Send it back to the lab.
Sure, we can come up with something from there.
So the way that I would imagine that they would have done it is that they would have sent in some second team, not trademarked, from Pentex to go in and collect the the after effects of a particular battle with Garou. Not only just the different blood and fur around in a battle, but maybe, we don't really talk about it, but werewolves have to poop too, and there's DNA in scat. Maybe they could have grabbed a bunch of scat.
Gross.
I know, right? Think about that, though.
No,
I'm
second
just
team.
thinking about the second team walking around with doggy bags.
See, I was thinking Kroger bags or whatever. Like something from the last trip to the grocery store.
God.
But could you?
It's a big wolf.
Because here's the thing. You're not going to take a dump in Krynos. And yet, this is the thing we're talking about now. Okay, thanks for listening to the podcast.
Just the Jurassic Park thing with the big pile of dung.
Right.
Yeah.
But like you're going to do that in probably in your breed form. Or I think maybe just do it in lupus.
Well, if you're in the woods.
It just seems like a lot easier that way. Less logistics.
yeah.
But so like, can you imagine you get this Pentex team rooting through the jungle or whatever, or the urban sprawl, where they knew there were some Garou, and it's like Jones, come over here. That feces, does that taste like Garou to you? Is that regular dog or Garou? Give that a taste. Tell us which.
It's a bit nutty.
Oh my gosh.
You went there.
Well, how else are you going to tell?
I know I did.
It's crazy.
Well, the
Yeah,
werewolves.
this is Grant's fault.
Yeah, we're going to run with that.
The werewolves, if they have that hunger for Garou, then they'll smell it out, right?
That that makes just enough
That's
sense.
just
Just enough sense. Yeah, that's what I was going for.
It's just
enough.
Should we move on from the dung?
From the dung, absolutely. I mean, I think maybe, unless anyone else has anything to cap off werewolves, I think a great use for them would be maybe even in an urban, like a more like less, urban setting with, a little mystery there, because, maybe one gets loose or it's sent intentionally to lure other Garou in. But, you get reports of there's a Garou out here attacking kin. What the fuck's this guy's problem?
And you don't have enough intel to know.
Exactly. Or you just don't know, because again, your characters do not have access to the fucking book.
Oh no, that's a werewolf. We're not going there with.
Yeah, so you think it's just another Garou, but he's lost his damn mind.
Right. So let's get to the bottom of it. Let's stop this guy. Who is this fucking guy? Everyone in the sep's accounted for. So who is this fucking random wanderer? Maybe
it's someone's first change and they're just flipping out.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's go to help. And all of a sudden, boom, either it's a trap or it's something we didn't expect. But either way, hey, there's a story for it.
That's a good story seed.
And to cap off possible story seeds, I always look at the Mockery Breeds in two different ways. One, if it's possible for them to be redeemed to, become serviceable for Gaia's purposes, and whether or not they could be integrated into other splats, i.e., made into an abomination by the random kindred, because abominations, as y'all are more than aware of, are one of those things that I find glee and happiness from because of how odd and outside of the meta lore and meta canon that they happen to be. And it seems to be a galvanizing subject, and I just like pushing people's buttons from time to time.
Yeah.
So the
one
werewolves,
particular person at this table.
So the werewolves, I don't really see them as having any type of real capability of being redeemed to enter service of Gaia. They're just not smart enough. They don't have enough spiritual flexibility for that type of purpose. However, because they don't have that spiritual alignment, I think that they could easily be embraced by, a enterprising Nosferatu or other kindred, especially one that would be working for Pentex, maybe the one on the board of directors, per se. And they'd pretty much just be a big animal type of kindred. And
Like a
I could see them being in like a pet, always in blood frenzy though, always wanting to eat you.
No, I'm just picturing somebody at
werewolves anyway.
Somebody picturing somebody at a throne just petting his pet.
Wolfula.
It's Wolfie.
Oh, I know. I get what he's saying.
Bark.
I get what he's saying because of the low intelligence.
Mm-hmm. And lack of
That's
spirituality. They don't have Gaia's protection.
We just made a Scooby-Doo joke.
Oh, boy. All right.
Roro master, I want a rubber snack. Raw.
Oh, boy.
I'm not sorry.
No, of course not.
Though I question what that Scooby-Doo plus Dracula voice combined came out as.
Just enough sense.
You're welcome, Grant.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I needed that in life.
Hey, so what's next? What you got, Danny?
The Anurana, the werefrogs.
But we just did Freak Feet.
Right.
It was like the next step.
Oh,
Right.
Let's take 2.
try again.
They're like the redo of the fucked up project of the Freak Feet, and taking the somewhat success of the werewolves. The results of the mixing technologies of the werewolves and the improved techniques of Freak Feet.
So like Free Feet 2.0.
I mean, frogs, so yeah. But they were also like a counterbalance to the Rokea.
Do tell.
It's just disappointment in your face right now.
Yes, we're gonna send frogs after they're okay.
That's right. That'll do. Well, it's the natural enemy.
Right.
Frogs are.
Yeah.
Frogs and sharks, yep.
Exactly. It's like clowns and turtles.
So the Anurana were like deployed in sewers to flush out bonar packs and patrol heavily polluted waters around Pentex factories.
Hmm.
I mean, I can see. Okay. Just throw frogs at the sharks.
So here's the thing. This is why these guys are so interesting. So there's a couple of reasons. One, even though Pentex developed them to kind of be this, weird antagonist for the Rokea, what's ended up happening is that they've ended up making the balefire sharks in those polluted areas kind of like their buddy, like their big brother. So it's had the opposite effect and impact of what the Pentex wanted. They're like, hey, we want you to fight the sharks. And the Anurana's like, no, they just look cool. They're going to be my buddy. Fuck you, Pentex.
It's kind of. I mean, they proved to be uncontrollable. So, like the Anurana, there was the first set of the test subjects were sent out to investigate the Rokea, but they never returned. Now they just live and breed out in the polluted waters of Pentex facilities.
And they can shift sideways.
Right.
So if they're submerged in polluted water, they can shift sideways.
Only in polluted waters can they step sideways. So, but because of that, they will also, they're very protective of those areas. They will attack anyone who try and cleanse any tainted areas of their home.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Right. It's
like the one thing that makes sense on them right now.
I mean,
so if you was going to use them in a game to try to go down this chronicle-wide objective of maybe redeeming a couple of them, the first real step would be to get one of the frog spirits to take them under their hippity-hoppity leg, so to speak, and be their, I mean, frogs still jump. They do still hippity-hoppity. They just bounce.
No, that's for Easter, sir.
That's Easter.
What?
Come on now.
Anyway, regardless.
Foreshadowing.
If they happen to find one random frog species to be their tribal totem, that maybe they could get away from only being able to shift in polluted water, it's feasible that possibly a couple of them could start working for Gaia. Unlikely. It's a stretch.
That's a big stretch.
I feel like a victory that we got him to admit that.
I mean, it's a chronicle long objective for a couple, I could see at the end of a chronicle them redeeming one or two frogs, not the breed as a whole, but one or two, maybe, give them a little bit of a hand out there.
All right, I just want to go that far.
Throw them a bone.
I mean,
That'd be the werewolves.
Oh boy.
Fair.
And then the other aspect of them is that they're not truly a complete like fairer breed, right? So they don't really have kinfolk, so they can't really they have to breed with themselves and become metas unless they are created by Pentex to be in homid form. They don't have an actual frog form. And that would be a really big hurdle for redeeming them for Gaia, is that you'd have to figure out a way that they can produce with their natural beast form to really, bridge that gap and make them a complete changing breed.
Wait, so Danny, they don't have a standard frog form?
No. There's either Hamid, the Anuran, which is, their version of Glabro, or there's Dagon, which is Krynos equivalent.
No lupus form.
That's it.
That is weird.
That's weird.
Yeah.
But again, unless it was created.
But then that's the thing they can do.
Yes. Weird.
No, I mean they're all metas unless they're created, then they're homid.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
None of them can shift into just frog form.
Yeah. Fucking weird, huh?
They're like, are they really were frogs at that point?
Hey.
We're fucked up.
Wait.
Like if they don't have a frog form,
They're were swamp man.
Talk about fucked up, man. They're wide set of eyes, brood thin lips, elongated fingers, no more body or facial hair. Stop that, you son of a bitch. Oh, both of you. Fucking weird finger motions at me right now.
Short neck.
Well, at least this one has a neck, so they improve.
plus one neck.
My favorite part was weird. It was no more body or facial hair. Any hair on their head becomes like slick and patchy.
Why is that his favorite part?
I don't know. It was fucking weird.
I think I know why.
Because I'm bald.
See, I
all the
wasn't
jokes
gonna
I have
say
for that
it.
We weren't going there. You
I
should
know.
We
have
weren't
that
going to
out.
say it.
It's fine. Their limbs elongate and their muscles bulge with webbed talons and a mouthful of needle teeth.
Needle teeth.
I like needle teeth.
It's
That would suck to get bit by.
Right?
yeah. It would.
So, a couple of things that I really like about them as well is that, if they're in their Krynos form, their Dagon form, they can actually be underwater indefinitely. They can't just hold their breath for a really long time. They can literally stay underwater the entire time. And then, coincidentally, they're also on the eastern coast of the United States. So there's a lot of places where they're going to have overlap with like the freak feet and the balefire sharks. So if you was, an enterprising and particularly cruel storyteller, you could create theoretically a hive that is, filled to the brim with some freak feet hives and the Anurana singing Kumbaya and just eating you if you got too close.
So I kind of like that idea of the Anurana like subjugating some freak feet. Like you have a small, I don't know. I don't want to say sept, but of these pretend werefrogs who are just throwing freak feet out like his minions.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Time Machine movie with Guy Pearce, where he's far in the future and the really smart creature is like sending out all the little creatures at him.
Sure.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, I saw the movie
All these
in the theater, so
But
long time ago.
Yeah,
one last little thing there. They're not vulnerable to silver, but they are immune to the delirium.
I think that needs to be like a prerequisite.
Agreed.
Like if I'm science man, professor of unscience, and I'm working for Pentex, I'm part of Project Lycion. That's step one. Because I'm going to make some designer shapeshifters to fight the Garu that will run away as soon as they see a Garu.
Yeah, I mean, without fail, like all the Mockery breeds are, with one exception, are immune to delirium, and they cause delirium in their war form. Obviously, the Karasei, they cause delirium in other forms besides that, but and the Samps as well. Samps is a special case because
we don't know what any of those things are because we haven't talked about them yet. So we have to pretend we don't know anything.
We'll get to those ones.
they're all immune to delirium as a standard, and they all cause delirium in their war form as a standard.
Well, again, exactly. That's got to be step one. That's the first prerequisite.
So yeah, the upgraded toad monkeys to almost werefrogs.
I don't even think that's an upgrade at that point. They don't have a toad form.
Right? Seriously.
I know. Hey,
and Danny's getting the blame for this, and I don't know why, but it certainly is.
It's
just reading
it's
it.
Swamp Man.
right? In Grant, what about frog pyres? Is that a thing you want to talk about?
So if you was going to make a if you was going to make a Dracutode,
Nice.
you know, I would treat them the same way that you would do Rokea. They get embraced and become this abomination.
What?
And they're just going around just
low
eating things as much as they
a
can.
vampire do you have to be to go, hey, it's that frog thing, let me bite it? I want my mouth on that.
It's colorful.
Why are you judging? I'm just saying. Why are you judging?
Next high.
Maybe he's looking for the next tie. Just saying.
That is
You
again
got all those tribes that lick frogs
almost
to get that
good
next
enough.
head change.
I mean, hey, frog legs are considered a
Delicacy?
delicacy
There you go.
in some parts.
You did talk about Chinese food earlier, so you could have sushi and frog legs.
They do.
It tastes like frog. Cut it out.
All right, what are we moving to next?
Maybe that's why. Maybe the vampire's like, man, I could go for some chicken. Fuck it, there's a frog thing. That's close enough. Let me turn that into an umpire.
Gross.
Good enough.
So it stays around forever.
Dracutode. I like that.
Dracutode. Get with the program.
Holy shit. Tom, what's next?
All right, we'll move on to the SAMHSA. These are the cockroach shifters that have been deemed a failure by Pentex.
Little Joe's apartment action.
Nice.
No one saw that movie.
I saw that. Oh, I probably saw parts of that
I was gonna
movie.
say, so you're the other one.
I've seen the parts of it a long
Jerry
time ago.
O'Connell didn't see that movie, and that motherfucker was
They
in it.
have one of the. Yeah, that's what that's it. It's one of the
adorable that
O'Connell
you said
brothers
the-
in it,
I'm
right?
sure Charlie O'Connell is just in heaven right now that you referred to them as the O'Connell brothers. Like he's relevant enough to be put with this.
Okay, so the SAMHSA. So Project Metamorphosis aimed to produce the ultimate corporate espionage tool. A swarm-based shapeshifter that could infiltrate anywhere and immediately pass information back through the link shared by every member of the swarm.
So a hive mind.
Exactly. So NDL's product marketing personnel sold the idea of an assassin concealed in 100 different places in a room, waiting for a target to arrive before reforming into a single killing form.
That's some Canon Films level pitching right there.
That is awesome. I like that pitch.
Yeah, but then they turn the lights on and they all scatter anyway.
I mean,
Are they Canadians?
oh, another deep cut.
Wait, that's when the lights get turned on. Yeah, we'll get to that. So unfortunately, the NDL scientist could not meet these goals, of course. They made the SAMHSA a mind-shattered 8-foot-tall bipedal cockroach-like thing that is utterly terrified of the dark. Not the light, the dark.
Even better.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll get to that. So all SAMHSA, when creating, have the paranoid derangement and must choose a second derangement.
Off to a good start.
Oh, so
Off
if you're
to a great
creating a
start.
character.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you're creating one of them, they must have at least the paranoid derangement, and you pick whatever else you want for your second one. But hold on, this gets worse.
No, of course it does. It's mockery.
They have 2 breeds. They're Hamid and Metis. Only have 2 forms. Hamid, and this is German, so bear with me. And Geisver, sure.
I think it's pronounced Charybdis.
Charybdis, yes. We're gonna, yep. So Hamid, Samsa, invariably
Charybdis,
have
help.
a disheveled and confused appearance and a feverish madness in their eyes. The Geisver are a nightmarish 8-foot-tall bipedal cockroach with greenish-brown armored carapaces and clicking mandibles.
Sweet.
So obviously they're German form.
German form.
Will inflict delirium, but these guys will be affected by delirium in Hamid. They are not
This is
capable of
awesome.
stepping sideways, but will hear nearby spirits whenever they enter deep shadow or darkness, thus feeding that paranoia.
Of course.
That's what you need.
Yes. This is awesome.
They heal at the same rate as Garu. They're not vulnerable to silver, but insecticides cause ag in their ungeyser form. So just hit them with the raid.
I love that.
They never will suffer damage from radiation or toxic waste, and cockroach spirits will actually teach them gifts.
See, that's a bigger deal.
Yeah, this is where it gets interesting, and I'm sure Grant,
it's a huge deal.
We're chomping at the bit to talk about how
go, redeem these guys. Go ahead.
Of course. So chewing at the toilet paper roll like the cockroaches in the woods, right? So you have to think about the fact that their genes are pure. So SAMHSA can actually create kinfolk. They don't have any in canon yet where any kinfolk family has been created. But because their genes are pure, they can do that. And then, you have cockroach as a totem. He's definitely taken these people into his purview. He's like, yeah, these are an interest of mine. And if he has his way at some point in time, he hedges his bets. He's kind of for Gaia, but he's really for cockroach. And so if he has his way, he's going to be able to really facilitate these guys to become a true changing breed, to be basically his Ananasi, like the were spiders are to, Ananasa.
See, that's exactly something I was going to bring up, is that if he could find a way to kind of unbreak them, there's some fucking trouble there.
So the way that I think that he could really do it is because they have this form of swarm life support, where if they are down to their last level of health, they kind of break apart into thousands of cockroaches, and then they scatter, and then the strongest cockroach eats all the other ones, and then that becomes the SAMHSA. Obviously, he doesn't have like the memory that he had before, and there's some other little things that happen from that.
He gains a new derangement too. Every time that happens, he gains a new derangement.
Oh, Jesus.
So, but if he could somehow fix that mechanic where, that one SAMHSA gets the ability to change into a cockroach, because some of them can. They're kind of hit and miss. Some of them have the ability to change into a swarm. Some don't.
Isn't it a gift?
Yeah, it's like a Fomori power. But if he could actually standardize that throughout all of the SAMHSA, and then they could start breeding as cockroaches. I mean, we all know how cockroaches breed. It would be insane. It'd be like Super Radkin, times 1,000. All of a sudden, there's thousands and thousands of the SAMHSA running around.
Well, it's like they say about cockroaches. If you see one, that's probably the only one there is.
That's a lie.
That's what they say, right?
That's when you buy bottles upon bottles of Raid.
Right. No, and that's the thing, though. Is you talked earlier about the idea of redeeming them toward Gaia, and I mean, as a catch-all for all these mockery breeds, but I don't see that happening this way. Because it's like Grant brought up. Cockroach is a shrewd motherfucker, and I could point to the Tribe Fall scenarios in the Apocalypse book, which someday we will, but with the Glass Walkers, essentially it was Cockroach just saw where the winning side was going to be, so he fucked off and changed teams. He's going to survive. That's what cockroaches do. So, I can see Cockroach taking an interest, sending the Glass Walkers to go help and support and try to heal, and I'm going to use air quotes here, bring them into the fold, but not for Gaia.
No,
for Cockroach. For Cockroach to have, again, like the Ananasi. But if you fix, how do you them, right? Well, I'll bet the Weaver could fix them, and if not, I'm sure the Weaver can lie about it. So I'm Cockroach. I got this potential brood of shifters in my image. How into that am I? Mm-hmm. And I'm not. Why I got to sit down for a while, to calm down before. So, and the Weaver goes, "Hey, I can fix them. I can unbreak them." I see Cockroach fucking off and switching sides to the Weaver.
You know what I would do?
Yeah.
I would grab a whole bunch of the SAMHSA, and then I would take them to Herberus, and then get them right there on the verge of dying, so they shatter into 1,000 cockroaches, and then throw them all into the the River of Silver. Eventually, one of those is going to come out pure.
I don't
statistics.
But they're not vulnerable to silver, though.
Yeah, silver's not going to do
it. But the River of Erebus is not just silver; it's a spiritual cleansing.
But only the Garu can reach Erebus, depending on your edition.
See,
depending on the edition, that's true.
I mean, there's edition. We're going to headbutt into that, but yeah.
I mean, okay. I mean, that makes
maybe get their Glasswalker buddies to help them out
again. And they're the only ones who can learn gifts from spirits. So
yeah, I mean, there's already that lore there,
right?
But they can't get to the Umbra. They can hear the Umbra from the deck, so that's fun.
Hence why they're crazy.
Right.
I was gonna say, yeah,
But yeah, so-
pushing that paranoia.
But I could totally see this being a thing that shifts Cockroach away from Gaia into the arms of the Weaver, because theoretically, who else is going to be able to help fix that shit?
Oh,
Theoretically, nobody.
Yeah, I mean, the Wild's not going to cure crazy.
No.
No, Wild is crazy.
Yeah. If anything, it's just gonna push it farther.
oh, I just had a hell of a chronicle idea just now. You could have your PCs be all Samsa, and what they're doing is they're going around hunting the Ananasi to do the skin changer ritual on an Ananasi to make them full Pharaoh. I'm all about cockroaches killing spiders. Just saying.
Cool.
That's a weird fetish, Grant.
Okay, what the hell just happened?
But a cap on it, there is no cockroach culling, so you're not going to see any vampires embracing any Samsa.
Aw. No Dracula roaches.
Dracula Roach?
Roachula.
Roachula. Oh, I want a Roachula now.
Oh boy.
See, I was going the Twilight angle.
There's just
I was
fangs
saying,
at the end of the mandibles.
Oh,
Jesus.
there's the clicking noises, except the
Yeah,
getting in the way of
it's the two fangs tinking together.
Oh, what the fuck just happened? All right, next.
All right. Next is the urine.
P?
No, not the urine. The urine.
Urine. I thought you said urine.
Y-E-R-E-N.
Okay.
Yeren.
Urine. Not
Urine.
urine.
Right. Or ye stimpy.
Okay.
Nice. It's been a long time for that one too. Jesus,
Dude, I made a Joe's Apartment reference.
I mean, good point.
That made G.I. Jane sound topical. See what happened there?
Yeah, nice.
Current events, motherfucker. So the urine, and I'm assuming that's correct. What can you do?
Sure.
I'm doing my best here.
Why not?
These were kind of the ants, the Project Lycion's answer to the Walkers / Bone Gnawers. They're the most advanced and successful of NDO's research. These are were apes.
Okay, I was gonna ask. Like,
Well, I was clearly going to tell you, Dan.
I know, but like,
I was going to be like, guess.
I mean, urine. I don't know.
But they're designed to thrive in the city and hold an edge over the, quote, savage and primitive Garu. These guys made were-roaches. They're throwing stones. I don't know what.
No, they're throwing feces.
Oh.
They have a gift.
Yes, they do.
They actually do have a
There's a
gift of
gift?
feces throwing. Okay.
What the hell?
I mean, they're apes.
Yeah.
You need a gift to throw feces?
Well, it's...
Tainted feces?
Oh, my God.
Can we continue?
We can. These guys, I think, are kind of interesting. And I think, like the Samsa, I think they have, of all of the Mockery breeds, the most potential for use. They are naturally attracted to money and authority. They have an appetite for greed. I mean, they blend in. They can shift forms, and obviously. But they find themselves creeping into, like, upper middle management positions of corporations.
So the closest to the humans, the closest to human thought processing,
Yeah.
and greed,
In fact.
power. Yeah. Oh yeah, big time.
In fact, okay.
Tell me one snuck on the board.
Oh my God. In fact, Tom, it's almost like you knew that.
Almost.
NDL was split from Project Iliad and hidden away from there's not Mike Dragon's Wrath. There's some other Black Sparrow on the board. I don't.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Not important.
No, not at all important. But he was NDL was taken away from Project Iliad and become its own entity under the board member Sir Frederick Appleton, who himself is a Yaren.
Holy shit.
So yeah, even the Pentex board.
That's fucking cool.
Right? And they want it all. It's money, it's power, it's respect, and they will backstab, undermine, lie, steal, shield, give it a name to get what they want. And they're already out there.
Oh, we don't even know it.
Right.
Or we shouldn't know it because we don't have access to the fucking books.
Right. Your characters certainly don't know it.
Totally picturing a monkey in a monkey suit with a cigar. Just chilling in a boardroom somewhere.
Right? I'll give you better with the jackets off and they got the suspenders.
Yeah. That's exactly how I'm picturing it.
Yep. A Gordon Gecko with this big old stogie. And you're like,
Gordon Gorilla.
beautiful.
Gordon Gorilla.
Beautiful. There
Perfect.
it is.
Yep.
I was thinking, Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Eddie Valiant?
Eddie Valiant goes, nice monkey suit. And
Oh,
he
you're
was the
talking about
bouncer.
the bouncer. Yeah.
Yeah, the bouncer was a giant
I think
gorilla.
both. That's the two forms right there.
Yeah, there's your two forms.
Yeah. In which they only have the two forms, Hominid and Krynos.
Okay, that makes
So,
sense.
Their Krynos is probably huge, though.
oh, I'm sure. Now, they can step sideways,
Oh,
This makes them a good threat.
but they have to use fabricated reflective surfaces. So, like mirrors, chrome installations, you find your reflection in a pond, no good for them.
really?
So a female urine with her compact will be able to shift whenever she wants to. Just looks like she's, powdering her face.
Exactly. They only have Hamid. They can't make metis and entirely incapable of reproducing with primates. But again, they don't have a primate form. Kind of like the werefrogs. You halvesied it, but these things are crazy.
The reason why they can't reproduce like that is because they don't reproduce like other changing. They took a page from the Corax,
That's true.
and they actually have a right that reproduces the urine. They don't actually, do it the way the others do. Steal the stuff from the birds.
Yeah, I was going to get there, but for sure they do. They have a right. It's a little complicated, or maybe not complicated, but it's not quite the spirit egg. They call it the shadow of the ape, and they pass this on.
So this is more of a creation as far than
It's
reproducing.
It's a 4-day bender.
Well, this sounds fun.
Seriously,
better.
It's just debauchery. It's party to party, bar to bar for 4 days, and they use their prospects. During this time, the prospect in question, use and abuse anyone and everything they come across, lurching in and out of blackouts. It's stumbling in and out of the Umbra. During this, it's the pledge, if you will fuse his flesh and nature of his spirit together, and this is how they're made. Part of it though is like it ends in like a bloody rampage, and anyone, yeah,
Okay.
but it ends in a bloody rampage no matter what, because it's not a guarantee to succeed at this point. Anyone with any sort of important or altruistic goals cannot become Yaren, and will die in the process, or be the victim of the bloody rampage.
Jesus.
So it's like you make it or you're broken. There's no middle ground.
4-day bender. That just sounds like a great time.
Well, until the end, when you're devoured by were-apes or you're a were-ape.
But I'm all for
And
the
nothing
4-day
in
bender.
between.
Eat or be eaten.
Right?
Survival of the fittest.
And they've spread, they spread around throughout corporate America, and they're starting to branch out in other countries. But I think probably one of the worst things about these guys is that worm spirits have kind of accepted the Yaren and into the pact, so they can get black spiral gifts.
Holy shit.
And they have been specifically sponsored by Reshlab, the Faceless Eater. So they can gain any kind of spirit gifts dealing with corruption of man, city, consumption, and greed.
Fuck.
They have a fucking toolkit. They're not vulnerable.
And
to
their own
silver.
gift.
Immune to delirium, obviously. What'd you say, Grant?
I said, and they have their own gifts.
Yes.
They've developed their own.
Yeah.
Up to rank 3 so far.
So these guys are really a threat.
Yeah, they have a legit toolkit. And then, so you look at all that shit, and then to think the fact that they have now infiltrated corporate America. And that sounds like, whatever. Oh, you say like you're the guy in charge of the customer. But yeah, no, that's...
No, humans, though, are a serious threat in the world of darkness.
Right. And so to have this force that has infiltrated them, on behalf, I guess, more for themselves than anything else, but themselves being allied with the worm, that's some dangerous shit.
Yes. Yes, it is. That's, like, I thought just that the human aspect of them with the money, the power, the greed, that was dangerous enough. But now they're pretty much being aligned with worm and worm spirits. That, ooh, this is
Yeah, this is an intelligent, ambitious, conniving, greedy faction who just wants to take it all. What a counter to the Glass Walkers. What a boon for Pentex.
The really scary thing as well is if you look at it, because they already have a worm totem that's taking them underneath its coil, so to speak.
Reshlib. Yep.
And as greedy and as corrupt as they are, it is really not too much of a stretch to see them manipulating vampires to earn the embrace to become this weird, Dracula gorilla type thing to get that more and more power to get their position over others.
Magilla Ferratu.
yeah, dude. You just fucking had to.
Of course I did.
Dracuzilla.
Why Zilla?
Why?
Godzilla. Yeah, whatever.
It's not a lizard. It's a monkey.
Yeah. Anyway, I was trying to think of what the big ape was, and I thought
King Kong?
King Kong?
There we go.
Kongula?
Shut up. Kongula. There you go.
It's truly frightening, though. You think you have a rank 3 urine that can shift back and forth from the Umbra and have their own thing of gifts, and all of a sudden you make them a vampire as well. So, and because they've already got this worm totem, they're not going to lose any gnosis or any spiritual aspect because they already have that affiliation. So they're just going to go with it, just run and be more and more powerful.
I'm pretty sure they're still going to lose Gnosis.
I don't see why they wouldn't.
I think they're just, why wouldn't the face of the cedar go ahead and replenish their gnosis?
Well, getting more and not losing it are two different things. Like, there's a leak in my tire. I'm still losing air even when I put some in.
True. But it's also arguable as what type of bearer they are. Because they never were a Gaian breed. And from the way they've been built, they're not redeemable. So because they were already inherently of the worm and inherently corrupt, they're not going to lose this spiritual connection to corruption.
Well, I see where you're going there, but and look, I didn't write the book, but I had always assumed that the loss of Gnosis, and again, putting it from that perspective is definitely food for thought. But I was for the notice that they were losing them because they're dead, not because Gaia don't love them anymore, or that they don't love Gaia anymore. It's that you're dead, you're a corpse, and that's always how I saw that connection going through. It's an interesting way to look at it, though, from your point of view.
Well, I'm going off of like in the Book of the Worm where they talked about abominations and saying that the only way that they could regain genosis is if they get it directly from the worm. So that's I'm seeing that as a precedent for if they were already embraced in the worm service, then it was already a foregone conclusion that that's where they would get their genosis from.
It's it's entirely possible. I mean, again, it's a section or it's an avenue that I never really looked at. So I hadn't considered before. So it's a good point.
All right. So move on to this would be the last one, right?
Well, we do have one more thing to talk about, but it's certainly not a mockery breed.
No. The last mockery breed.
Oh, we do. That's right. We do have the one
more.
I'm sorry.
It's 2 more technically. Well,
what's the one's not a mockery?
Well, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, my bad. I forgot. I didn't get out.
So the last of the mockery breeds were created as shock troops in Africa because the war wolves.
Jesus, how did I forget these?
These are your favorite.
I know.
Really, are they?
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, they were created as shock troops in Africa because the war wolves were, as low as intelligence they are, were drawing too much attention for Pentex. These are the Kursai, the were-rhinos.
It's fucking rad.
They're kind of badass. But again, the werewolves are drawing too much attention.
So let's do something bigger.
Well, what's already a threat in Africa?
Malaria.
You are correct, yes, but...
Elephant stampedes.
Heat.
Well, rhino stampedes.
Dysentery.
Yeah.
But...
It's a lot of credible threats.
It's a long list.
All right. I get the fucking point,
Maybe
guys.
just tell us, because we will be here all day.
So, now Pentex is still working on a workable Hamid form of the Kursai here, but they are mystically weak compared to any of the other mockeries. but they can still disguise their origins as worm creations. Weird.
I think it's a bold statement to call them mystically weak in comparison to the other mocker. Like, that's a fucking statement.
A little bit. But they are still a major problem for both sides of the Ahadi and Blacktooth War. Just both sides of this war, it's a problem. Stampedes of were rhinos just destroying villages. Getting in the middle of what's trying to be things fixed or corrupted or whatever. It's like, Tom just like, what the fuck?
I don't give a fuck. Yeah.
Now, there are 2 breeds, either rhino or menace, but they do have 3 forms, which, it'd be the glabro, the Krynos, or the rhino. Again, equivalents here.
So no standard Hamid.
Pentex is working on a Hamid form. Just they haven't figured it out yet.
Coming 2024.
So the really frightening things with the Kerasi or the Kersai, it's a Swahili word. I don't know how to pronounce it. So if someone knows Swahili, please let me know how that's actually pronounced.
I mean, Kersai.
We do our best.
Yeah, Kersai. I'm going with it.
I thought there was an A in there. I thought it was Kerasi. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Maybe.
Like I said, it doesn't matter. These guys are very, very fertile. Like almost every single time they mate, they have, they produce more of the same. So if Pentex could really figure out how to make them homid, they could use that knowledge to backtrack with the other changing mockery breeds and make those guys a little bit more fleshed out as well. It's a really frightening concept for them to make that scientific breakthrough to give them a homid form.
No, 100% agree. And I think that's why they made such a big deal of it when they're saying that they're working on a Hamid form. Well, and just haven't figured it out yet.
Right, and there are no slouches that they exist currently either, right? Because they have infiltrated the local rhino populations, and I say populations plural, because there are different types of rhinos.
Right.
And they're in there fucking both ways.
Correct. Now, they can heal, but they're not vulnerable to silver. But again, immune to delirium. They can't access gifts from spirits, but they use Femorai powers.
Which is a little frightening.
Yeah.
Imagine what that horn would do.
Well, how about this? Imagine like a rhino charging at you, and then like it's got 2 hands coming out the sides with like fucking machine guns. Or it like spits bellfire at you.
Yeah, no thanks.
While it's charging?
Yes.
Jesus.
It's got to slow down a bit because the spit's not going fast enough. It doesn't want to. Maybe it sprouts wings or a scorpion tail.
That would be crazy.
This is shit Fenmore can do.
Right, but they can still suppress their own worm taint.
Which is
even scarier.
Yes.
What the fuck?
I mean, you're walking, you're just chilling out in Africa, blessing rains, and you see this group of rhinos, and it's the rare scorpion-tailed rhino. Nothing suspicious here.
I don't smell any worm taint at all.
Right? It's totally fine.
Do you enjoy your Christmas down in Africa?
Christmas?
Do they know it's Christmas time at all?
I don't know. It's always hot.
Oh, there's just no shame in this room.
Never.
Wow.
Never.
So what I think is really frightening about them is because of their proliferate, mating, they've actually kind of bridged the gap between the white rhinos and the black rhinos. And there's more of them, of the Kerasi, than there are just normal rhino populations in a lot of areas. So if you did have a pack in your table, they're going to say you had a Kucha pack that's active with the Adi trying to take these guys out, there's going to be a lot of backlash with the mortal realm and with the humanity and the governments, because you have these people going out killing a whole bunch of rhinos that they think are this almost extinct animal. Because, I mean, the only way you can tell that they're Kerasi is if you see them in their beast form and you notice that their horn has a little bit of a red tint. So it's really crazy the backlash that they could experience.
Speaking of, how cool is that? The idea of taking that horn as fetish material.
Oh, shit.
That would make a pretty badass fetish.
But it'd be worm, though.
You can do a rite of cleansing?
I'm going to say you can cleanse it. You polish that horn hard enough.
Jesus.
That could have been a perfectly innocent statement, Grant. Well, get your head out of the gutter.
Right.
What's your problem,
I mean,
sir?
I could.
Yours and no one else's.
I'm a 40-year-old man. My head's always in the gutter.
Like how I blamed that on him?
Yep,
Yeah.
that was perfect. My laugh didn't help, though.
Yo, so taking into account the fact that black spirals love to kill their allies as well, I mean, I could see Zizak being like, you know what? I want some rhino horns on my badass whip. You know, come on over here. Let me help you out real quick.
That is a sentence.
That
and
is.
And you know what? That's what she needs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
just
feel
what
like,
I said.
yeah, she's not strong enough. I think we need to get her like 30 of those horns and just
30?
coat her little dominatrix outfit with the horns, so she could be like a spiked dominatrix, rank 6, green dragon affiliate. She says that's enough. That can level the playing field.
No, you need to take one step forward and let her be embraced as an abomination. Just go all the way.
Whoa.
You know, I don't think that would work. And by that I mean I think the vampire fangs would break on her skin.
I'm kind of with you on that one.
She's the one. But that ain't gonna work. I don't know why that's the voice I chose.
That's fine. I like that idea, though. I think that's fucking cool. Using the horn as fetish material.
Right? What I said, I think they're cool. Like in general, though, I like that idea. I mean, it's essentially rock steady.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just got to get Rocksteady together. Get a Kerosene together with a Gronder. You got Bebop and Rocksteady. Bring back the Owl, and then there you go. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And you have a Ratkin in there, already built in for Splinter.
Danny's all for this.
You know,
I'm not saying it.
you don't need to.
No, I don't need to.
Cowabunga.
Sure.
I mean, but those are now the Mockery Breeds.
Yeah, this is 2022. Booyaka Shop. Come on now, get with the program. Cowabunga's the 80s.
Did you have a stroke? Is there a doctor out there?
I'm sure there is.
Michelangelo's new catchphrase from the latest show is Booyaka Shop.
Well, Bushikawa to you too, my friend.
Yeah, sure.
So while we are out of Mockery Breeds to talk about, and again, we go back real quick to story ideas for our rhino friends. You could do obviously any number of hottie stories. Grant brings up the idea of like the government's getting involved because these rhinos are dying. Or what if something is fucked up? Is some organization that feels like it's doing the right thing, or better yet, a zoo, and one of these gets tranked and tagged in the wild to go to a zoo or something.
You're that fucking glint in your eye.
And now you've got
just
were-rhinos in like the San Diego Zoo,
bad day.
right?
That's
Central
a
Park Zoo get
bad
one.
day.
Ooh.
But there you go. And then it's like, what do you do with it? Is it going to start a rampage? It could. For me, that's a little too flashy. I think they would be smarter about it.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe they wouldn't. Or, maybe Pentex wants their shit back.
Oh,
And so they're
that I
going
see
clandestinely to get their fucking their property back. But yeah, something like maybe the Central Park Zoo, where now they're pissing distance from a cairn, boots on ground. They're not here for the Garu. They don't know about the Garu, but we can't just let this happen. And maybe meanwhile, the Glass Walkers learning that this is, these are rhino shifters that were grown in a lab, that we want this thing for research to see if we can reverse engineer it or make a quote cure or something that could just take these out full stop in mass.
damn.
Just, a couple thoughts.
Oh, I love when we do these story scenes like that. It's so fucking cool.
It's good exercise.
On the more positive aspect, you could also go with them trying to find a totem spirit to redeem them for Gaia as well. I'm not sure if the rhino spirit has fallen to the worm completely. Correct me if I'm wrong. I can't remember all the spirits and where they align.
No, it's all.
But I believe that currently the rhinos are still in line with Gaia until they lose the last ones, and then they would fall. So I could see them, a pack of Guru, racing to save the rhino to keep the rhino, capital R, from falling to the worm, and maybe using the kerosene to hedge, to shim up those weak spots and to give that totem a little bit of a boost.
That's entirely possible. I mean, also a decent idea. You know, it's fun to play with these.
Yeah. I love when we do these story seeds because it's if anyone ever takes these ideas and actually puts them in their own stories, please let us know.
Yeah, I mean, it's here. You know, send us an email, rageacrosspodcast@gmail.com.
I'd love to hear them.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I know CJ with his Wild West game has been taking ideas and hints here and there. Curious to see where he goes with some of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's unrelated, but yeah, they had their first, as of this recording, they had their first Wild West game. It's a second Wild West game he's running on our Discord, and I sat in on that. That was pretty cool.
I want to see CJ use what we're about to talk about in his game.
I can
just imagine them now. I can just see them now with some pistolier belts and just going through, throwing Cadbury eggs at people.
All right, we're just going to go right into it, huh?
Oh, might as well.
I was searching desperately for a proper segue, but if you're going to make the left turn at Albuquerque, we might as well just get into it. Because we got one more thing to talk about today, and that is, of course, the Lepix.
Which, as of this recording, just came out last Tuesday.
Yeah, Tribe Book Lepix came out on the Storyteller's Vault, written by some, I don't remember who, some clown.
Some fucking guy.
Yeah, Grant, do you remember what fucking guy wrote this thing?
I mean, he kind of has a weird accent. He's from the South, and, seems like he's a know-it-all at the damn time. I don't know. You should buy it anyway and see how he does.
Yeah, Colonel Sanders came here. And wrote,
well, I'd like to make a little, I don't know my announcement, but let's kind of preface this and say this started off as a joke.
Well, let's take a further step back because we're joking about it like everyone already knows.
Which they should because it just came out.
So the Lepix are the were-rabbits.
Right.
Guy is Midnight Snack.
There we go. There's the joke.
Yes, which started on our own Discord, over the RA Discord, again, ragecrosstheinternet.com. You get the link there. Come hang out with us. And Grant, you took this idea, and you hit me up and you said, hey, I want to explore this. How do you... Is that cool?
But again, started off as a joke, and this was your idea.
Yes, this was my joke.
This was your joke. It was Gaia's Midnight Snack.
And Grant took that concept
And ran with it.
Yep. And we've contributed on this.
He jumped with it.
But Grant, yes, he did. He took the concept and he half the fuck away with it.
Hoppity.
The guy just tunneled down into that concept.
Took that left turn at Albuquerque.
Did a Peter Cottontail, went down that rabbit trail. That's what I did.
Yep. So tell us a little bit about the Lepix, Grant, seeing as you literally wrote the book on them.
So, I mean, as we spoke about, they're the were-rabbits. And I wrote the book as not being serious. They're not a serious fera. And the joke come about as everyone kind of seeing that all these people are creating these random were breeds to throw into the vault and of every different animal known to man. And so in it being like, well, at this point, there's more changing breeds than people on the material plane. So, well, how would we feed them all? Well, shit, let's make a changing breed for that too. So that's what we've done. We've made the were bunnies, which is there just to feed the other fera. And so based on the book, I have them that they are all wiped out during the War of Rage. Either the Gronder ate them all or the Gru ate them all. It's your choice. You take that as you will. And to just layer the puns and to layer the stories and jokes into this. So in game, in universe, the were bunny are a valid, serious changing breed when played. If you're playing the Lycanthrope, the Rapture, Black Dog Game Factory in game, in universe of Werewolf the Apocalypse.
Super meta.
So
yeah. We have gone down the rabbit hole.
All the way down. All the way down.
As far as the rabbit hole goes.
Right.
And this is the inception of the world of darkness.
Yeah, and see, I love those little concepts. And okay, fine, I'm a little partial here, but that the Lepix were created because a guy was like, just stop eating these. This is a bummer. Like, I like the deer. Eat this. Stop eating the deer. Just only eat this shit.
Have some rabbit.
Or the idea that the War of Rage was secretly caused by someone bogarting all the Lepix.
Oh, that's a good story, see.
So, yeah, I mean, the Gronder, they were just bogarting the Lepix, not letting anybody have any. So, of course it's going to cause some problems.
It's an awesome idea.
Right?
That's what caused the War of
It's the
Rage.
secret truth behind the War of Rage. Somebody ate all the snacks. But Grant, I mean, you really went full tilt on this. There's a full set of gifts. There's some history. There's shit in there.
There's some NPCs.
If there are some NPCs, aren't there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed that you have some April Fools comes out every year. You have a cover of a book, but it's not real, right? It's just a little bit of a spoof, a little bit of a joke, like the Where Hummingbirds by Ian Hogan. Like, it's hilarious, but it's not an actual book, so you can't go into the Storyteller Vault and get that. And even then, I wanted to make the joke have a little bit of meat on it. Not everybody. And when I first brought the idea up in Discord, there were people that really wanted me to write a serious book on the Lepix. They wanted me to go full tilt into it and make this their own changing breed prior to the Savage Age and all that. And I felt that was against the spirit of the joke overall of what we were trying to get at. And but I wanted to give them kind of like an olive branch or the end of a carrot, so to speak. So yeah, I mean, after you give them that carrot branch, I was going to say that I gave them some real gifts, some real form stats, and actual builds of how I would have built them if I was going to build them for serious in the Savage Age to be utilized back then or even into the modern era. So I really went full tilt into getting that depth there, so that if someone wants to utilize them in a more serious matter versus the meta on meta matter that I've made it, then they can actually do that.
Meta on meta on meta.
Oh, it is. It's super meta. It's a lot of fun, and I mean, it's we did throw an ad out for it when it came out. It came out on April Fool's Day, which was the plan. Unfortunately, and like Grant brought up, we posted ours, and we post. You guys listen. We post our shit early.
Yes.
It's like 4 a.m. and I'm you ain't up yet, and I've got those ads pending in some of those Facebook groups. And lo and behold, as the day marched on, you had 4 or 5 joke, again, like Ian Hogan's hummingbird thing. And I'm like, oh
we weren't the only ones.
but this is a real book.
Yeah.
So, here we are. Lepix did, in fact, launch last week, but it still exists. It does exist. It's a real thing.
Yeah. It's not just a joke.
Right. I mean, it is a joke, it's a real thing that you could really use.
But it's also a real joke.
Right. There's a book there.
It's a joke, but it's not a joke, but it's also a joke.
Right.
Because it's
There's
meta.
many layers
That's
of
in
it.
the meta.
Tricks are for kids, goddammit.
Because tricks are for kids.
It's like an onion. There's just so many layers to it.
Yep. Though that's not... It's like a carrot.
Okay.
There's no way to go with that. I see why you didn't.
Yeah.
I support your decision now. And we support your decision to go check out Lepix.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap, so...
Yeah, definitely. Buy several copies.
Go use our affiliate link.
Use our affiliate link and buy several copies. This way, everybody benefits.
I'm going to say, what do you get it on there for, like $3 there, Grant?
Yeah, I've got it for $2.95, and honestly, I would charge even less, except I did commission all of the artwork from Dylan Haney, who's a fantastic guy, does fantastic art. So I'm just trying to pay the man, and get him what's coming to him financially, because art's not free, it's not cheap.
That artwork's
so
pretty sweet.
It's actually, for quote-unquote it being a joke, some of the artwork is fantastic.
Yeah, some serious fucking art in that book, yeah. And this is a fun little collaboration, I guess you could say. Is that fair to say, Grant, between us and you?
Fair. I mean, it's your idea. I just ran with it. So yeah, definitely.
That's what happens when the 4 of us here put our heads together, I guess. So,
or when you put your head together and we like that idea. Grant should do it.
That was
and go
shockingly accurate.
You're welcome.
I was gonna try to spread that around. It's cool.
I threw a few nuggets of things in there.
That's true.
It's all fun and games.
Hey, I gotta ask. Maybe this gets cut because I haven't looked at the final yet. Did Sourpaw make it? Was it Sourpaw?
Sourpaw did make it.
Nice.
Or Sourfoot.
Sourfoot.
Not Sourfoot.
Sourfoot.
That's even funnier.
So the NPC ideas that I went back and forth with you all, I did flesh them out a little bit. I didn't go too in depth because I'm not really making any money off the book, so I'm not going to do a full character write up on each one of the NPCs.
Certainly.
So they have about a paragraph per NPC that gives you the basic idea of what we were running with, and it's really really funny. And I looked at it from the whole Sourfoot as the other Lepix being mad at him because he lost the race to that damn turtle.
That's awesome.
Yep.
He wasn't fucking around.
No, he was. Danny. No, he was not.
So before I forget about the Lepix, one thing that I don't know if I really specified in the book. I mean, I know I did, but I want to make it really clear for everyone that actually buys it, listens to the podcast. So the Lepix, the way they breed, because I know it's really important for the rabbits, they are 100% fertile. When they breed, they're going to have Lepix, period. There is no homid form. There is no bunny form. And then the minute they get pregnant, they shift into their near beast form. And that's how they are when they're pregnant and when they're born. So the entire time.
So Thumper?
In Hispo.
Super Thumper.
Super Thumper.
Super Thumper from...
Super Thumper.
Yeah. With short little ears. Because that's where they were back in the prehistoric times. That's what rabbits look like. That's the only Creative Commons picture that's actually in the book. All the rest of the artwork is original by Dylan. So that's the only thing that I chose to scourge through the internet to find an example of what this creature actually looked like, because it is based on a real creature. The Narulagus rex was a real animal that is the ancestor of the rabbit. And the terms for their different breeds are actual science terms for different rabbit forms, or rabbit-like, like the one for their Crinos form is Latin for rabbit-like. So I did put more thought into it than it initially seems. It's definitely, I'm rather proud of it, and I think it's quite funny. So yeah, look out next year, because I'm probably going to do a follow-up looking at the Lepix from another side.
I'm excited for that.
No, that'll be a good time. So that, again, to sum that up, try Book Lepix. It's on the Storyteller's Vault. Go check it out. It's a lot of fun. And that is our time for today. So Grant, thanks for coming back, buddy.
I really appreciate it. I always liked having stopping by and having fun and joking and talking about different werewolves and different things from werewolf and the other parts of the world of darkness. So
I mean,
we need to rate the episode. Damn it! Just saying.
You're just saying that so you can get to number 10. We get it.
Yeah, shit, that's not going to happen.
It's a werewolf podcast.
Right? So anyway, if Grant will let me end the show. No, thanks again for showing up, Grant. On behalf of all of us here at Scratch Wolf Studio and fuck it, see Grant Rose too, we want to say thank you for listening. Go check out Lepix. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Keep your claws sharp and on a swivel. We'll see you later. Actually...